Good morning, everyone. Morning. I'm Anderson Silva, but there are in Brazil the less famous man, the same name, yeah, the Spider-Man. But we start this conversation today, and the topic is simple, but it's not simple, but complex, and many times is subjective, and security culture, yeah. So, one of the greatest challenges today, facing security leaders today is it's not technological budgets or risk assessment, but engagement, yeah, engagement and communication. For security culture, it's necessary communication, engagement, and many efforts for soft skills, yeah. But don't use it hard skills definitely for security culture, yeah. But we approach this topic in two ways. The first way, understand the problem. What's engagement with employees, the company, when the security lead put ahead the real security engagement for the people or the employees, understand what's the reason or the main reason for security culture, yeah? And in the second approach, it's about outcomes, yeah? Why the way we connect the security culture with the outcomes, performance, connect the numbers of the performance of the companies, okay? So, for this, I start the questions, 25 questions, yeah. For the team, and the first round about understand the problem. The first question, if you could identify the single biggest reason why employees still disconnect from security initiatives, what would you be, and what practical actions has proven most effective in turning that indifference into genuine engagement? Okay, so Camila, start and introduce yourself and start about this, okay?
Okay, thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm from Brazil. I'm Camila, work for SAS. And I don't remember if the guy before we talking about said everyone just pay attention with TikTok videos, and maybe it's a connection with the question Facundo tell for us. Sometimes we just doing the same and still believe for different results. For example, just read all the employees, the SLPs we have, for example, but they don't work for security team, and they don't care about security. And how can I convince everyone else to choose politicals about security? Maybe we can change mind, maybe we can have new ideas for different generation. I think is good. Maybe we can doing the responsibility not for the security team, but for everyone be responsible for. I think maybe is that work.
Okay.
If I can add to what Camila said is, I think it's relevance is one of the main issues, right? Is what you're saying is that you created these SOPs, they're not bought into it. And so when I think about organizations that have been successful, it's getting different departments bought into the idea that security is not, it's absolutely owned by the security department, but it's not just their responsibility. And talking to the different departments, asking them questions around like, hey, what are some of your challenges, right? And they might tell you, HR might come in and say, hey, when I'm offboarding an employee, right, to high risk time, what can security do to help me with that? And so if you start talking in their language and asking them about business continuity, resilience, operations, it really helps to get them bought into it. And one of the things that back in high school, which was a while ago, maybe not super long ago, but it was a while ago, was that I worked at the front desk and they said that housekeeping is everyone's job. It doesn't mean that I'm going in and cleaning rooms, but it does mean that at the front desk, if I saw something in the lobby, I could either take care of it myself or I could ask someone and find someone to take care of it, right? And that whole idea and their culture was that around the customer experience, right? They wanted everyone to have a great experience, and so it was bought in from the culture around that it's everyone's responsibility. And so I think, again, if you go back to inviting people into the conversation, asking them, hey, what are some of your challenges? And you talk about business continuity, again, different topics that they relate to and they understand, it becomes more engagement from them and they get bought into it. And it's that idea that, hey, it's not just one person's job. And I always think that that's a good analogy, right? Like see something, say something, but also how does this relate to me? And relevance is key, what I see as
But do you understand the mastery, the security engagement, it's important?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But do you know the one tool for these, for example?
Well, I'll give you a different example of a customer of ours,
Okay.
right? Is so their goal from an organization is the NPS score, which if everyone's familiar with NPS, it's basically how outsiders are ranking you. And what the security department, right, the director of security, he's like, my company is all about NPS. I need to figure out ways to improve members' engagement. And this organization, they were looking at members, which are their consumers, and they were asking us ways that we can help that experience. So we talked about mobile credentials and how easy it is to provision them and giving them the sense that when they come up to a reader, which, right, like opening doors is super boring, but can you make it a little bit more exciting by saying, welcome Natalie, or giving them directions right then and there to help with that customer experience. So that engagement, right, back to your question, wasn't around security per se, but it did get them interested because the entire organization's interested in NPS. No different than the hotel example, everyone's responsibility of giving the customer experience. And so I think it's more around the conversation.
The NPS is the tool for commercial area in general, but for security, understand the security culture in the company, I think it is very interesting way, okay?
Yep.
And go ahead.
I will start with a question. Raise your hand if you are struggling in order to get the engagement from your team. 1, 2, 3, come on. Only
Come
3?
on.
And you struggle to get engagement.
Double.
Yeah.
Why is that? I'm going to rely with the previous panelists and presenters. Human nature. Mm. This is not going to happen to us. To me, why? For example, I live in a very shaking country. We suffer earthquakes every other year. And if it's less than 6.5, we don't care. Mm. We stay where we are.
Yeah.
Everybody's running in circle and we say, we're fine. Nothing happens. So far, I had to experience 4 earthquakes in my life. Typical Chilean person experienced 3. I was lucky, 4. Yeah. And we didn't prepare for the earthquake. And why? If we're living in a country that is shaking all the time. So we are doing our best in order to have presence or the best solutions in order to engage with the people, so create awareness. Mm-hmm. But we need to deal with human nature. And if we want to succeed in that, we need to understand what are the concerns, what are the motivations that the people have, why they need to take care of their own security, of the security of their team members, their family, their organization. I'm supporting a multinational company now in the travel security program, or travel safety program. And of course, are not teenager, but almost there.
Yeah.
And they're traveling to countries or to places that are not safe, but they feel safe. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if they really can understand about how to deal and they can be aware about the danger or the risk that they're facing, they're going to be protected. So you need to engage to a completely different level. You cannot do the same that we've been doing in the last 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Definitely, that engagement doesn't happen by accident. It's necessary, the intentional leadership and the continuous improvement. But let's go for second round, okay? So, the second question. Security teams often say their greatest success in the incident that never happened. But that's also the hardest success to demonstrate how can security leaders effectively communicate the value of prevention for executives and boards, specifically when success is measured by absence of incidents and crises, okay? Return of investments, understand the security culture, block the costs or improve the costs, and the cost avoidance. I think this is a way for a debate about this, okay? So we'll start with Camila.
Okay. I remember here, all my life maybe I just worked for physical security. And I don't know in your company, but everyone just thinking about security is so boring. Just need pass the bed all the time, pass your bed, but it's not about that. For example, my last company I have worked for, it's a big railroad company in Brazil, and we have a good case. I remember they just spent, for example, like in reais, I don't know in dollars, it's a little bit confused to me. But like, for example, it's just an example, okay? 1 million reais, they paid for some indemnization someone else because they just stole some products. And when we start the new security, not just about physical security, but technology, AI, we talk a lot about. We reduce this maybe like 70%, like they just paid 300 reais. It's so different to pay it. And all the board look for security team, wow, how you guys make that? Because we just think about security, just pass the bed all the time, but no. When we invest about security, the correct form, you can give the return about the money, about the ROI. Yeah, I just give the example.
I think ROI is interesting because I agree that prevention, right, is what typically I think a lot of people talk about. Or if an incident happens and you're saying, hey, if I had this, I would have prevented that. But I actually think we undervalue the security if we're only looking at those two things. If you're counting the number of incidents prevented or incidents that happened, when security can do so much more, right? And it's about that conversation about bringing other people in and talking about how can it actually enable business and create resilience and allow the, in manufacturing, allow that to continue to happen. So I think we've seen a lot of successful organizations that come and again ask the IT, hey, what are something that you're trying to look to do? Okay, well, I'm trying to have more interoperability within the systems I've already purchased. So I'm okay with investing in something a little bit new, but I want to make sure that it works with other things that I have. If you look at, we've had customers that have taken HVAC and BACnet integrations to reduce energy bills. We've had people in COVID leverage access control to be doing random health screening temperature checks to say, hey, you came in, you're valid, you're good, right, during the COVID times. We've had people prove compliance. So if you're thinking about forklifts or OSHA certification, those can get really pricey if you have something that happened. And so talking again to those different groups, almost as if they're your internal customers. So security has their internal customers, talking to them, and then finding ways to leverage what the organizations probably already have, because most of them have pretty smart systems, and just asking the questions and finding different ways, that is so much more meaningful and impactful from an ROI perspective than just saying, okay, we've prevented this or we've had this number of incidents. And it talks to the executives and the boards, right? They get that.
Another question, you talk about the NPS. It's possible to connect the NPS, for example, with security outcomes? In your opinion?
Yeah, so again, with the NPS, because what people are asking around there is what's their experience a lot of times, right? And so, and if I'm not getting the question correct, feel free to correct me, but with them, what they were asking about is how can we make the experience for these members more delightful? And when we look at the light, okay, what does that actually mean? Someone feels safe. It's easy to get in and out of the building. They know where they're expected. They know for this organization, they only had a certain amount of time in a space that they were allowed, and if they were over that time, they would get charged again, right? So being able to be notified that, hey, you have 15 minutes left, you have 5 minutes left of your conversation going, right? Those types of things and notifications. Well, if you have a system that can know space utilization, send out broadcast notifications, give instructions, right? An intelligent system, you can do those things. And that's where coming back to an NPS score and asking how is your experience when you came and leveraged the services, it can be higher because that all plays into it. So again, it's security, but it's not the traditional way of thinking of security. And I think that's where, again, don't just look at incidents, but look beyond what just opening, closing doors, watching a camera, watching a fence line, those types of things.
Okay, Alvaro?
I think that organizations, and this is one of the things that I learned during my career, that thrive are organizations that provide a safe environment for the employees. Why? Because if they feel that they're safe, they are not concerned about doing different stuff, in order to protect themselves, rather than innovate, to think, to create new things, to do their job. So I think that working in that part, it's very difficult. Why? Because it's very difficult to create awareness on the leadership about what is the risk. But if we thrive in allow them to understand what is the risk, we're going to have the budget, we're going to have the money, because it's going to be aligned with the risk appetite. So first, learn about the business. Learn about the culture. Learn about the people first, before going out, because sometimes you have a higher risk inside. Because you can create a lot of mess by having people that are not aligned there. And then understand what is the risk for your business, for your industry, and with that, you can present it to the leadership and tell them, this is going to happen if you don't mitigate. So you are investing in resiliency. You're investing in business continuity. Yeah. If you work in that line, you always are going to have money. Maybe it's not going to be everything that you want, but it's going to be aligned with the risk appetite. And then you can take care. We got this.
Great. Yeah. Doing natural risk assessments and actually doing drills, that helps get people bought in too, right? It's like, hey, if something happens.
Now you mentioned, for example, this is something that I learned when I was working for Google. There's a program that is called DIRT, Disaster Incident Response Team. And we love it because we were testing the organization, and we stressed the organization not only for security, but for different kind of incidents. So when you are testing the organization all the time, when you have the incident, when you have the crisis, you just need to follow the script. You need to follow what you learn and the muscle that you create in the organization.
Yeah.
Okay. The topic is very interesting, but we don't have time. I think it is important to understand the leadership, develop the soft skills and communication, engagement. Communication is important for put ahead this step. Okay, thank you so much. And let's go for the other.
We gave back 2 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, we have a minute for a selfie, because everybody knows that I love selfies. So everybody say cheese. Cheese. Good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.